What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, today we're doing a hero analysis. If you haven't been here for one of these before, it's pretty simple. We analyze a hero. We take an E3 unit, we go through its stats, its skills, its enables, stuff like that. We test it out, we show off the unit as good as it's probably going to get, or close to. So anyways, today is Fat Moo. We've got the Fat Moo analysis on deck. So we're going to jump in as per usual, read through the skills, check out the gearing guide, and then go and do some testing. Alright, so first up, let's read things. The active skill, Fist of Fire. 3 random enemies take 182% of attack as damage. You take 102% of attack as burning damage for 3 rounds. I don't understand why it's written this way, but takes 24% of attack burning damage for 2 rounds and takes 24% of attack burning damage for 1 round. I see how it's written, but its original description, I believe, is that it starts out at a higher damage over time. So you've got all 3 of those dots stacked for 1 round, so it's like 160%, and then it goes down, and then the other dot falls off and it goes down, and then it's gone. So it's written a little weird, but essentially his first damage over time is his heaviest, and then it slowly ticks down over time. Anyways, first passive, Attack 3. Increases attack by 35% and health by 30%. Kind of your basic run-of-the-mill passive there. Not a huge important deal. Ignite 3, when using basic attack, victims have a 75% chance to take 110% of attack as burning damage for 2 rounds. So damage over time on basic attack, not a terrible deal. And the final thing here, Flame Skin 3. When taking damage from basic or skill attack, attackers have a 90% chance to take 120% of his attack as burning damage for 1 round. So kind of like Dragon Slayer, when he gets hit, you burn the enemy. Pretty much. So that's kind of what his skills are. A damage over time hero mainly. His active skill doesn't hit super hard. Mainly damage over time. He does have a really nasty amount of attack. That's one of the highest stats I've seen in a while. Of course, I haven't made an E3 Shia yet either, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, pretty decent stats at E3. We've got the normal enables on because that's how we open our testing, is always with the basic enables, and then we swap over to private server enables and see what else we can eke out of the unit. That's kind of how we do it. So, gearing guide. As per usual, my gearing guide, we have the 6-star armor on. Is there better armor? Yes, I could have 6-star ranger gear on. I don't have that, so could he be a little better? Yes. As for his stone, since Fat Moo is mainly a damage dealer, 100%, and his damage mainly comes from damage over time, the only thing I can really see you using is attack and attack. That's going to boost his damage over time and also his actual just raw damage. So that's the best way to go in my opinion. I don't really think there's a lot of other stone options for him that make a lot of sense. Maybe if you're trying to troll with him, you'd put some like HP stones or something on him to make some more tanky than others. I don't know. But I would say attack's probably your safest bet for raw damage with a Fat Moo. As for the artifact, you can use a buttload of artifacts. Anything that really boosts attack. So things like class specifics are always good when you're fighting marauders. Generally speaking, that's actually what you're going to want to put on for max damage against a marauder. They almost always, in every situation, will outdamage things like the Antler's Cane, the Punisher Staff. Your 90% damage versus a class type is important. So when you're fighting marauders, your artifacts change a lot. Just to go through and fight with them, though, it kind of depends on what you're using. In the arena, if you're kind of trying to troll with him a little bit, you might run some with straight-up attack artifacts and such, like this, that'll boost his raw attack. And he gets the faction bonus for extra attack, which is nice. But you might have some with like reduced damage and HP, so they don't die as quick, stuff like that. So like in a trolley team, your artifacts will change a little bit. But if you're trying to push max damage, you're going to go for an attack artifact almost every time. I'm just running Antler's Kings is what I've got on him. And it's a decent baseline deal to test. 70% precision, no one's going to block you pretty much. Skill damage is nice to boost his damage, and then flat attack percent again. You want attack percent. Swapping on the Queen's Blade actually, I think, drops his attack. Yes, he actually loses attack putting on the Queen's Blade, which is weird, but it's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. So we'll put this back on there. Attack Stone, pretty much any artifact that boosts attack. Pretty much what you're going to run on to this guy. So let's jump in and test the guy out a little bit in his raw vanilla nakedness. Who to test against? I fought a Margaret the first time. I'd probably kill it, I think, if I fought it again. The big thing I like to fight about Margaret's is she doesn't kill my team off, so my damage numbers are fairly consistent. But it's alright. We'll go down and we'll fight. I think I've got an ODO1 down here. and we'll try to take ODO1 on. Now, that may not work out so well, but we'll see. We'll absolutely see. As per the fact this first test is going to be straight vanilla, both my enabled units here, Valkyrie and Fat Moo, are both running flat vanilla stuff. There's no like attack breaks and stuff in there from the other part of the team. It's all vanilla. So let's go in and see if we can maybe survive an ODO1 Marauder. I haven't fought one yet, actually, so we'll see. I try to stick to like Walters and Margarets because it keeps my team alive, and it looks like my team is probably going to have a little bit of trouble staying alive here. We might be okay. We might be all right. We'll see. But we're going to run through a normal test like this. We might next it after this, do like a normal watch the whole battle, and then we'll next it. Then I'll swap on like a mage damage artifact and swap in the enables for the private server and see how high I can hit there. Or how about what we do is let's do a normal attack like this, then swap on the mage damage artifact and next through it and see how much damage he gets there. Then put the private server enables on with the mage artifact and see what he gets that way. Because when you're fighting a Marauder, like I've said, you're almost always in every situation going to benefit more from using a class-based artifact than you will from using any other artifact, unless in like special situations like a Sigmund on the back line fighting Kamath, you want crowd control reduction and reduced damage, stuff like that. Yes, it makes a difference. But most of the time for a damage dealer, you're going to want the class-based arties. So not a crazy amount of damage coming out. Only 35 million from the Fat Moo. Against Margaret, with the whole team staying alive, he was able to push about 60 to 70 million damage before. I guess we could run, well, that's with the mage artifact on too. Let's go ahead and swap the mage artifact on, like so. Give him a little damage versus mages, and see what he runs against it now. Like, battle. And that's the same team. Everything's in the same position. He should get nearly double damage. Nearly, I would assume. Go ahead and just next it this time. 130 million damage with Fat Moo pushing. That's about right. 68, 70 million damage. 60 to 70 is what I was hitting against the Margaret Marauder. So it looks like the damage is staying pretty consistent, even jumping up to the ODO1. That's what I was getting earlier. But it goes to show you, very importantly, even artifacts that are so, really good artifacts like the Antlers Cane, when it comes to PvE and fighting bosses, you're almost always going to rather go with the class-based artifact than you are going to go with those god-tier artifacts. Now, if you're running like a red class-based artifact, it might be a much closer fight between the two, but when it comes to the orange 90% damage versus a class, they're almost always going to outperform your special artifacts like the Punisher Staff, etc. So anyways, there's your vanilla Fat Moo, dropping about 60, 70 million damage with the mage artifact on. Let's go ahead now and swap up my enables. So generally speaking, when I do enables for raw damage, obviously you don't need health. I do like Violent Attack for the private server, boost your crit chance and crit damage after round 4. That's going to obviously boost your damage pretty much regardless. Extra crit and crit damage usually does that for you. Resilience, I'm probably going to drop it, even though it might take a little extra damage here fighting this ODO1. I think he can make it. We'll swap down, and we're going to throw on a Spell Control down here. Every time he hits with his basic attack, boosts his skill damage by 25%. Obviously, that stacks up pretty high, and by the end of the battle, you do hit quite a bit more damage. So it does drop his attack to remove the Antlers Cane, but like you saw, it didn't really make a difference. Less attack still gave him more damage. So leave the mage artifact on. I guess we'll swap up her enables here. I don't think you need the mightiness right now. We'll throw on Honest Heart to decrease a little bit of his attack, maybe help my team stay alive a little longer. Sometimes you do stuff like that when it comes to your Marauder fights. You have to tweak your enables a bit for maximum mambo jumbo. So let's jump in here, and I think we're all set to go, right? I feel like we are. I feel like we absolutely are. We're going to watch this one out like we did the first time because we've swapped to private server enables and we've got the mage artifact on. So this should be, theoretically, the best my Fat Moo will perform. Now, obviously, if I had like an enabled Heart Watcher, enabled Sigmund and Cruz, the damage would go up. Of course, it just does naturally because you can keep things alive. Your team wouldn't die off. But for the sake of what we're doing here, this is the best my Fat Moo's going to get. 10-star Heart Watcher, 9-star Sigmund, and a 9-star Cruz. Cruz already dead, so that's a little sad, but it's okay. Not a huge deal. It's alright. Fat Moo's actually taking a little bit of damage, dropping that resilience. Probably a good thing we put the attack break on Valkyrie, keeping him from knocking the enemy down, team down quite so fast. But it's okay. It's alright. Kind of want to see a skill damage drop with a crit. 4 million damage basic. That wasn't very good. That didn't hit very hard at all. I don't know. I feel like he was hitting much harder versus the Margaret, which doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense because it happened. Come on, give me a crit here at the end. Nap 4.9 mil. That didn't seem like he was stacking those passives at all. Weird. Because he was dropping 12 million damage versus Margaret last time. His damage actually stayed the same. That doesn't make any sense. Did his enables not, like, change? No, they did. They absolutely did. I'm curious. Let's run that again. Let's run that at one more. Should we run it against the Margaret and see if maybe he's just fighting the ODO1, killing the rest of my team off so fast that caused it? We'd probably kill Margaret. Whatevs. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll go ahead and slap her in the face. Like so. Victory. I figured we'd kill her. Dang it. But about 80 million damage. And that's what I was hitting earlier. Is about 80 million. So, enabled Fat Man, I don't know how many rounds that went. But it seems like it went pretty close to the end, because that's about where Valkyrie was going. That's where he was going before in my testing. So, private server Fatmu isn't all that much better than vanilla official server Fatmu. And to be honest, neither of them are really all that great. So we're going to go ahead, I guess, and jump into some Broken Spaces battles. We'll fight this dude, because I fought him last time. Why not? He hits everybody. I guess we'll watch this attack out. It probably will have much lower damage output. Because Broken Spaces bosses have reduced damage, if you guys didn't know that. It's not just armor you have to go through, so generally speaking, your units do less damage to Broken Spaces bosses than they do versus Marauders. So, we're going to see what Fatmu can pull here. Running the official Fatmu against Broken Spaces, I was only able to pull about 30 million damage, but I don't have the Priest class-based artifact. So I would assume official Fatmu at E3 with the mage damage artifact, probably push about 50, 60 million damage versus Broken Spaces, at least this one here. But kind of curious to see what the private server is able to do. From the Marauders testing, I wouldn't say much higher than 60, if you can even hit 60, because, like I said, he doesn't get a huge boost from the private server passives, to be honest. Which is surprising, because he has a huge amount of attack. It's just, I guess he's not that great. He's just not that strong of a unit. But it's okay. Let's finish this up here. See what he can drop. Not seeing any huge damage. 2.09 mil. Not huge. Not really huge at all, but it's okay. The damage over time, you're seeing that big 4.5 million drop at the end of each battle. That's coming from Valkyrie. Not so much Fatmu. A little bit is from Fatmu, of course, but most of it's from Valkyrie. Any hoodles. Wrapping up there. Another, was that 4 million damage, I think that was? Or was it 2? My eyes are broken, but it's okay. Not really hitting all that hard. Not really all that hard of a hitter. So, we dropped 102 million damage. Fatmu only pulled 30. Only a 30 million damage. Even with the spell control and all that stuff put in, let's try to run one more. We'll next through it, though, and see if maybe he can eke out a little bit more. Because 30 million is what I hit with the official enable, so... Wow, 23. So it looks like no matter how you run this guy, he just isn't all that good versus Broken Spaces, which I'm not surprised. He's Fatmu. He's not that great of a unit. So, that's pretty much all the testing we need to do. I guess we can do like an arena battle or two. I guess the enables will work just fine there. I'm not going to go crazy with them. Let's see. 1 million attack. This guy's probably going to slap all over my Fatmu. E2 Asmo. He does a freeze. Let's take a look here. Ugh. We'll try to fight this guy. I'll probably lose it, but whatever. We'll do it like so. We'll do it just like this, see what happens. Not expecting amazingness, but again, you never know. Sometimes, oh, there's a freeze. Already frozen on the Valkyrie. That's not hot, but it's okay. See what we can do here. See if we can actually win it. Cruz is already going down quick. Valkyrie pretty much carries me in PvP. Fatmu's almost dead already. That's not good. Frozen monster coming in. Well, I would say Valkyrie probably made this happen. Pretty much guaranteed it was Valkyrie. But we did win the arena. That's the problem with testing 2 E3 units at once is, yeah, Valkyrie dropped 9 million. Fatmu still pulled out 5 million damage. And like I said in the video when I actually made him, he probably works pretty well early game to mid game. If you like make an E3 Fatmu right off the bat, you might troll the crap out of some people because his damage over time does kind of troll you a little bit when you hit him. And I have run into teams that were like 5 fat moves and a cruise, and sometimes they'll surprise you how much damage they put out because when you hit 5 people with one skill attack, you're potentially going to catch 5 damage over time effects all at once. And sometimes that can drop well over a million damage. It can one-shot your own unit, but I would say in PvP, especially late game, Fat Moo's nothing in late game PvP. That's why you never see him. But as a troll unit or something for early game, maybe even a little bit into mid game, you could probably get away with an E3 Fat Moo for funsies. I wouldn't necessarily recommend building him, especially if PvP is your goal. I wouldn't take Fat Moo. Really, to be honest, he's not that great. I built him because I just want to get everything E3'd eventually. I would say overall, if you checked out Fat Moo, he's very mediocre in every area. I mean, the best damage I've been able to pull with mine versus Marauders was a hair over 80 million. I think I hit 100 million with him once. I don't know. Maybe. I think I might have hit 100 mil versus Margaret one time. But either way, that's still pretty low in damage for an E3 unit, especially if you're building for PvE. I mean, even Bade hits harder than that in PvE, and Bade pretty much sucks. For PvP, not really that great. Almost every E3 unit now can make it to Nightmare and Aspen. Mine, I haven't really fought mine yet. It's just sitting at difficult 57. But with Resilience and the extra HP enable, almost any E3 unit that's even moderately okay, like Dragon Slayer, can make it. I would say most units can get to Nightmare at E3, even if they're not very good or Aspen-based units, because E3, even on official, is going to unlock Resilience for that healing anyways. So, he works alright, I guess, for an Aspen hero. I guess as good as any other E3 unit will that's baseline. He's not going to take you crazy far. He's not going to do a crazy amount of damage in PvE. And he's also not going to do an amazing amount of damage in PvP, especially late game. Overall recommendation would probably be to stay away from Fat Moo unless you're wanting to do something for fun and just build one. Or if you want to build him because he's very easy to get copies for and then swap him out later for a better unit, like save up scary copies or something. Take your Fat Moo to E3 and then just swap a scary in for your Fat Moo. That's obviously something you can do. But as for an actual unit you're going to use, I would say hard pass on Fat Moo. He's just not that great. That's honest. That's the honest analysis of Fat Moo. We'll be back later for the Valkyrie analysis. We'll get that done. We've still got Bloodblade and Aiden to do as well, so be sure to check those out when they come out. But that's me up for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure, smash that thumbs up button to show your support if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and tell your friends about it, because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.